The national president of the Boy Scouts is pushing to lift the organization's longtime ban of the participation of openly gay adults. Robert Gates says the policy is no longer sustainable and is urging the group to change, largely to avoid legal battles. The WSJ's Ashby Jones is here with me to discuss. Welcome to you, Ashby.
Thank you.
Okay, so there have been legal challenges to the Boy Scouts before, right?
Nothing that has said you have to change your policy.
Okay.
That is part of what President Robert Gates, the former Secretary of Defense, was saying today, though. He's now with the Boy Scouts. He was saying that if we don't do something, we're likely to get hit by one of these challenges in a bad way, that a court would come in and say, hey, you guys really have to change your policies here.
Okay, what's the legal standing for an organization like the Scouts to ban others from joining?
Well, it's a good question, and the Scouts it's obviously a private organization, and usually private organizations can sort of make policies and follow practices that they want to. However, when it comes to things like public accommodation and other things that sort of require licensing from the state, etc., the Boy Scouts sort of has to rely on that a little bit, and therefore it gets a little muddy. So I think it hasn't happened yet, but I think that some court down the line would be likely to say, hey, this isn't kosher. You've got to change things.
And one thing that's already been in the news is the Boy Scout chapter here in New York, which hired an openly gay Eagle Scout named Pascal Tessier. And how does that work legally when a local part of an organization ignores a ban from national leadership?
Well, I mean, legally, this is all sort of internal politics for the organization, right? There wasn't a lawsuit involved or anything. But President Gates talked about this today. He said, this has really caused sort of internal turmoil for the organization. You've got kind of a national policy, and then you've got fiefdoms or people below that are, blatantly disobeying this. That's not a good thing. And he said it was, he didn't use this word, but he basically was saying this is kind of like a black eye on the organization when they see this sort of dissension among the ranks.
And Mr. Gates he's the current Boy Scout president, but he's also a former U.S. Secretary of Defense. So could there be parallels between the military's change of heart regarding gays in the armed forces and this situation? Yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, he made allusion to that in talking about how sort of societal perceptions of gays and lesbians has changed a lot in recent years. And he said, in the military, he was Secretary of Defense in 2010-11 when the military decided to change its policy, and he referenced that today. So I think that if they did decide to go away from it, he would be able to draw on that experience.
Okay, well, we'll see. There'll probably be a lot more on this issue.
I think so.
All right, thanks a lot, buddy.
You bet.